Unfiltered with Bran Otieno and Dongo Gashane. Unfiltered with Bran Otieno and Dongo Gashane.
Ruto's 7 days of national mourning for Raila Odinga might have ended, but Kenyans are very much in mourning. My name is Brian Otieno. I'll be one of the hosts of Unfiltered, a political podcast that talks about current affairs. We interview guests on a range of issues. My co-host today here, Bwana Mr.
Yes, Bwana Mr. I am Dongo Gashane, and today we are going to discuss among so many other issues, but among them is remembering the late former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who left us on October 15. And as Brian has said, we have been mourning as directed by President William Ruto. We are also going to talk so many other things. We have heard of what Governor Fonyeri Mutahi Kahiga said about Raila and what his death means to the country, and so many other things. Brian.
Yeah. And our guest today is not a stranger to this show.
Yeah.
Dr. Peter Mbai here is a stalwart member of the Democracy for the Citizens Party, but I'll let him introduce himself.
Thank you very much. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, Brad. Good to see you, Ashane. My name is Dr. Peter Mbai. I'm a leadership and governance expert and also the Secretary for Planning and Economic Affairs at the DCP party, so I sit in NEC. And I come from Nakuru County because everybody have their home. So really, we all came here, but I'm a proud born in a cosmopolitan place called Nakuru, where everybody from every community lives. So we are the first people who preach peace and inclusivity. And we want to preach that in Nakuru and also at the national platform. Thank you very much.
Karibu sana, Dr. Mbai. So we'll start with, by discussing the enigma of Kenyan politics. Did you ever cross paths with him?
Thank you so much. I met the Honorable Raila Odinga when he was leading the campaign for the Constitution, 2010. I was one of the people who are doing that civic awareness of the Constitution in Nakuru area, Central Rift, that area there. So one day we met they were co-chairing the secretariat, I think, with Professor Peter Kagwanja. So we met, and he told me, yes, young man, I hear what you are doing in Nakuru. This is what we want to eat. So we met like 15 minutes. I told him what we are trying to do. And for sure, we distributed copies of the Katiba almost every other place. We had been shortlisted by the committee of experts, to do the issues on Katiba. So that was the personal issues, and of course, much more. I interacted with him through books. As a student of political science and politics and government at the university, we literally studied Laila. Let me tell you. Mm-hmm. We literally studied Laila like all the examples. Mm-hmm. You can imagine a political science class. For me, I did a double major, political science and philosophy. So you can imagine I did political science literally. Some people just did 1 year and then they moved to other things. I did 4 years. I double majored with the philosophy. So you can imagine in every unit, anytime we are talking about Kenyan politics, Raila Odinga would feature. That's why I got interested to know the history. And I saw he started way off back since when he was a lecturer, I think the 1870s at the University of Nairobi. So we could go see where he used to lecture, all the way going to, being a lecturer. 82 happens, he is detained, comes back from detention, 92, joins the whole issue about, joins the young tax, 92, all the way to, and then Laila, who has made history. Let me tell you, from where I sit, anybody who either have never even voted for Raila or have never loved them, so to say, they respect him, for one thing, for what he has been. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, you don't have to like everybody. You don't have to, but respect who they are. Because God's creature, God created people differently. The ability of Raila is something which even now has not been being studied. How he was able to oppose the 4 presidents, and each time he never would, he would be called in to come and assist, get into a coalition with the 4 presidents. If it was one, you would say, ilikuwa bahati mbaya, Mm-hmm. But 4, like from Moi to Kibaki to Uhuru to Ruto, that alone is something else which you have to give it to him. Whether it's good or bad or historical or what, just the fact that it happened historically is something that needs to be taken out of seriousness.
But Dr. you have said something that actually caught my attention. How this man was studied in your classes. But this man is a person who say that he was a president who never was actually. So what do you think? Do you think his claims and even those people who follow him that he would have been the president in this country, but kora ikafanywa 1-2-1-2. Do you think that he at one time, as he tried for presidential bid 5 times, do you think at one time he ever won?
Quickly, as I say that, I want to mention this. Listen, as we study people and situations and occurrences, we study them being very objective.
Yes.
That's why I said, if you are to be, now I'm talking now as a student of political science and an expert on leadership and governance. Laila has his own place, whether you agree with him or not.
Yeah.
We like being objective. Number 2, I want to disagree with that notion. And please, it must die. We are still mourning Laila. Even if the 7 days go, Laila will be mourned for a long time, by the way.
Sure.
Because whatever he stands for, by the time we get somebody with the same unique characteristics, you remember what Omaro said? Laila mania, Laila phobia. But either way, people just allow him to take a space. And even us, when he came from EU, we were saying, Baba, if you don't mind, come and join opposition. You remember? Only that now, when he joined Broadbase, we said, we respect. Like me, always said, is my senior. So what you do with an elder like that, even if you don't agree, you respect his decision. Then you go political now. I haven't decided. Now, let me answer. I don't think so. Let us stop this thing of trying to think. Laila Odinga came, he did his bit, 8 years, he has passed on. But there's this hangover, he would have become, his voice was stolen, because if you go that direction, somebody will argue, Brian, why then did you join governments whose votes were stolen? How do you legitimize a government, then you join it? I don't think so. Let me tell you what happens. There's no Supreme Court ruling that went all the way and said Laila Odinga was supposed to be sworn in as a president, then somebody refused to sworn him in. So as an objective professional, I would say that there's a time Laila was supposed to be president, then he was not. I don't think so. Why don't we agree that Laila did his bit? He has written history. He's going to be with us for a long time. Because the issue of he won, they were stolen and all that, there's no scientific proof to that fact. You cannot prove it. So you cannot come and say, I had like 2 or 3 people mentioned that, he won, he was never, because also he later joined the government. So somehow he also took it a bit legitimate. I don't think we want to go there because then the process was followed. Whatever happened, happened.
Okay. Yeah, indeed. As you've said, that there's no scientific method to prove that. But you remember the late Samuel Kivuitu admitting that the 2007 elections were rigged. He even spoke about, maybe they are cooking elections somewhere. But let's move on from that. What would you say is the biggest lesson you gleaned from Raila, from interactions with Raila personally and through books?
One of the lessons I've learned interacting with Raila is that Raila, his style of moving people, there's a way Raila would pull crowds and maintain them. There was discussion with someone about Raila and post Raila because you cannot copy Raila. Even people who are attempting to come after Raila to either become the family heads or become the party leader, you'll never. Because you can go inherit ODM as a party, you can inherit all this, but you cannot inherit loyalty. Raila has had a way, because also of the many years he has been around. He has been able to get a followership, people following him in a big way, So he has been able to cultivate, from parts of the country to get a sizable following, even convincing people to be with him and all that kind of thing. He has done his bit. Of course, history will have to be considered about his last days. And also, generally, his idea of joining every government that won, that he was opposing, but recently the issue of the broad-based, the jury is out there. We continue analyzing whether that was good or bad or whatever happened and where it left ODM. Remember, we had Azimio made up of several parties across the country. Then after broad-based, many parties felt they were not involved, so they left Azimio. So we have been talking about ODM. Now those are things that say when you come, you do very good things. You also do some issues that people felt should have been done better, and then that's where we are left to study, to say this one ought to have been this way. This one, I think some decision ought to be made elsewhere. But later, for me, it is better, Brian, to make a decision in life and stand with it, other than making no decision at all. Leaders are marked not because of how right they were, that they made decisions one way or another. Indecisiveness is the worst quality of a leader. So that's why I have that respect for Raila, because somehow he manages to come, says we want to go this direction. Whether I agree with it or not, it's another story. I am repeating that it will take a long time before we have a leader. The only issue I have is that let us stop the culture of over-celebrating people when they die. I didn't say celebrating, over-celebrating. You want to fall over yourself, trying to show the people how you love this guy. But why? What did you do when he was alive? Look at the CGH thing. Please, there are circumstances where you bestow people when they are passed on. But if you believed Raila because by whatever he did, why didn't you bring a discussion? People agree, and people agree that he deserves it. So I don't agree to this story that Raila has been with us, but it's discovered he was important once he died. That's a bit hypocritical. There are also people who are why Raila may be one of the reasons why he never made to be president. There are people who, because of political reasons, they completely led the war in ostracizing Raila, knowingly or otherwise. Those words of Kidedawiri, Mozea Kungwareri, Lord of Poverty, literally for like 15 to 20 years, since 2013. Sometimes when somebody dies like that, just come and say, and by the way, we are part of the people, who are part of this, but we are saying it was politics. Just mention something because people know that you have been part of this.
So because you're here, maybe you could tell us, what did you think about Raila's decision to join Ruto into the broad-based government?
Personally, I'll tell you this. He partook when Ruto decided to betray the mountain, deceive them out of DP position. And when I say out of DP position, I mean Rigathi Gachagua, because Mount Kenya erected Rigathi Gachagua. They never erected their position. They never erected that we want just a DP. They wanted the person. Actually, they voted in the person. That's number one. So he was part of the people, a good number. Let me start with Azimio, not even these other parties. Azimio were very many parties. I mean, when Ruto was getting into Raila, he knew he was getting the entire 6 million. The 6 million was Luo Nyanza, a lot of Western, a lot of Kisii, a lot of Masai, a lot of Coast, Northeastern, where Azimio was. But he ended up getting only ODM because many people voted out. Mother was in Azimio, she voted out. Kalonzo voted out. A lot of Kisii, a lot of Western, a lot of Northeastern, and also Coast. So there are people who felt he didn't have to
What
get
did
it.
you feel?
Personally, I thought he took advantage of the fact that Ruto wanted somebody to help him to kick out Rigathi Gachagua. That's what he did. And like we say, everybody has a right to make their own decisions, but history, going back, and that's why, and that's why everybody felt like, okay, fine, you have decided to go that side. These other people go this other side, So, and we were just saying, we would have been happier, we would have been okay, personally, to have Raila for many years around here. We're going to a contest in 2027 with him around, so that we know who was right at the end of the day.
Before we move on to the next topic, you have given us your personal view on why you feel that Raila ought not to have joined the broad-based government, because that could have been taken by many as betrayal. You are party leader, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Other than the social media condolence message that he sent towards Raila and his family over his death, he was nowhere to be seen in Kasarani, Nyayo, and even in Oponda farm. And we actually mourn the dead. When the person goes, I think people believe that it's always good. A leader of the stature of the former deputy president ought to pay his tribute to Raila, because of democracy, because of other things that he have done for the country, why do you think he decided to give all Baba's farewell a white bath?
Now, I would say this in a nutshell. One, in Africa, people mourn differently. Death is a very personal issue. There are some people who pass on. Because of one reason or another, you do different things. Others you visit, others you send money, others you send relatives, others you send representatives, right? Now, we must allow the Rigathi Gachagua, the party leader of DCP, to have made a decision how to mourn Raila Odinga. You don't know what was going through his mind. So he decided to mourn silently and privately. One of the things he did, he sent a message. Look at those words. Look at those words. Words cannot be, you cannot gainsay those words. Those words, he meant those words. Okay? Number two, he suspended all his activities. We suspended all the activities, even up to now. We have not seen Rigathi Gachagua go out there, go to church, go to meetings we have been going. In honor of Raila Odinga. The issue of physical appearance, Kenyans are overthinking because let me ask you, there was no obligation. You can mourn, send a message. You don't know whether they have been reaching out to the family, but physical appearance was neither here nor there. Now, Kalonzo felt he had to cut short his trip to come and be physical at Nyayo, where he was not recognized. Despite the fact that he stood with Raila for 2 times, people brought in politics into a sober thing like a burial of a statesman. Remember, let's take an example of Kalonzo. He was there, not recognized at all. It's when people made noise in the evening, he was mentioned, and others were there, and that statement was made deliberately so that the word Kalonzo could prop up. Others were there, Akina Kalonzo were there. You could see the fear. So now, maybe you should be speaking to the people who are organizing the burial, not also to bring some political differences in a sober place where people come to mourn. Yeah. Now, look at what happened in Bondo. Kalonzo goes, mother, Eugene, and Matiang'i. What happens? Kalonzo is given the opportunity. And he is there. He's trying to mention them. And he was trying to hope twice that they could also be given a chance, especially Mother Karua, who was the immediate former running mate. So when the DP heard that Eugene Wamalwa has a poem, he lashed the program so fast and gave out and proceeded to give the opportunity. Now, let me tell you, why, if that is how people come into Mona are treated, starting from how Kalonzo was treated at Nyayo, and how it was done, you just allow people to be. There was a lot of there was a lot of fear by the organizers for any opposition person to be around there. But not even the crowd.
But do you understand why many Kenyans are now sharing a video clip of Raila Odinga attending the funeral ceremony of the late Nderitu Gashagua's brother? Do you understand the reasons behind that?
Let me say that something. Please, I want Kenyans to understand that. Let me say this very authoritatively. It's okay to share the clip of Raila attending the burial of the brother to the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. I'm just saying this. Allow the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua to mourn Raila Odinga his own style. The Honorable Rigathi Gachagua is an experienced political leader. He has made 2 presidents. He has been in this place for too long. He's a political scientist, and he knows what he's doing. That one I can tell you. He's doing what he's doing, and Kenya should not also begin kupanga watu. Wewe kuja pale, wewe enda hii mazishi, wewe kaa nyumbani kwa hii, wewe enda toka abroad ukuje kwa hii, alafu wanaenda kupanga walaini pale wakifanywa madharau. Coach, first of all, the organizers to have a framed mind ya kwamba mtu akikuja somebody come in to mourn, let him be given also some space.
Before Raila passed on, Rigathi Gachagua had made statements to the effect that Kalonzo Musyoka is not a virus or a bacteria that is afflicting the former prime minister. Do you think, looking back at what he said, do you think there was no way he could bring himself to going to the former premier's funeral service?
That's a good question. Let me tell you, Shannon, how this thing started, because we have been here. What happened? Everybody was guessing about the health of Raila Odinga. Mm-hmm. What happens? Dennis Onyango does a statement. He did a statement. He's the one, and Brian, you have that statement here. Mm-hmm. We took many hours to try to wonder, where did this come from? Surely, let's be fair. Let's be fair. we took many hours, even in the office, tend to understand among our team, strategic team, tend to wonder where did this come from. Because at no point before then, at no point before that statement, did any official opposition leader mention anything about the health of Raila Odinga. Because in Africa, we don't discuss health.
Yes.
We don't discuss people's health because even you can die. So Dennis comes, he's the one who mentioned by name Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo, and Eugene Wamalwa, saying that they hope to benefit from the health of Raila Odinga to resurrect their failing career, whatever that meant. Now, the following day, there was a rally in Ukambani. Gachagua is saying, where do we come in the health of Raila Odinga? And he said, is Kalonzo a bacteria? Is he a virus? Because from Dennis Onyango's statement, it's like the official opposition were the ones who had engineered the issues of health, the illness of the former premier, which was very unreasonable. But looking at it back, because also we are neither too foolish, neither too clever, we thought that nothing happens. Let me tell you something now. Let me teach you something about leadership and governance. Nothing just happens. I don't think so. Looking back, somebody must have told Dennis, we must get these guys. We must find a way of implicating these guys, so that now you are thrown a bait. Then you begin getting involved. You saw after the death was confirmed, so many people began bashing Gachagua that he was involved in the sickness and the ill. He spoke something which he didn't do. He was just trying to look for the name Gachagua to drag him. When he kept quiet, Brian, completely. People, have you seen people desperate to have Gachagua so they can touch him and drag him into anything, right? Either whatever they had planned. And by the way, for information, there is nobody who was planning to heckle Rigathi Gachagua. In any case, if there was any embarrassment, it was to come from the organizers by trying to ignore you or whatever. So, first of all, there's nothing like that. And for record, Rigathi Gachagua had not planned to visit Bondo. A whole somebody there I saw yesterday saying, he was planning, let him not. Please, why is it, ask yourself, somebody who was supposed to be impeached and forgotten after 3 months, the guy is seated in his place, but everybody is talking about Gachagua. Now, because everybody wants to drag him in so they can have a pie of him and trying to either use him and murder his name. Number 2, nowhere, was it on Monday? Yesterday was on Wednesday. Nowhere did Rigathi Gachagua meet with Governor Kahiga to plan how. That was said by none other than an MP.
Before we go there, and the topic about Gachagua's utterances, let's come back to the issue of Gachagua and his failure to actually pay tribute to Raila. And you say it all started after the statement by
Dennis Onyango.
Dennis Onyango. But if you look at that statement carefully, it didn't mention Gachagua alone. It actually talked about Gachagua, Kalonzo,
Eugene Wamalwa,
and other
opposition leaders.
But other opposition leaders attended Raila's burial ceremony. So what does that?
Listen, there is no connection. Let me put it this way: there's no connection between that statement and attending, because Gachagua was among the first people to actually send a message of condolence. Or what I'm saying, the issue of bacteria and virus.
Yes.
Dennis threw the first jab. Gachagua was just responding, saying, where do we come in the issue of the illness of the former premier? So he was asking Kalonzo, Kalonzo is not a bacteria or a virus. That matter has nothing, it ended there. Until now, the Honorable Raila Odinga was confirmed dead. Then again, the same team. That's why we look at a hand, began talking about that Rigathi Gachagua was involved in his sickness or the death.
But looking back, do you think perhaps Gachagua should have, said nothing? He should have kept silent.
Let me tell you, somebody cannot wake up in the morning. I mean, that's why I'm saying this was a choreographed thing by the people who ran this. I mean, by the state or something. Something was cooked to throw in so they could see. Let me tell you, when somebody comes and mentions your name, even if it's tomorrow, he would say the same. And the question was, it was a rhetorical question asking, is Kalonzo the bacteria? Because how do you blame me? How do you blame me over the health of someone? Really? And I am not implicated. I was not with him. I never gave me anything. So, even if it was repeated today, I would say, go back to the rally and answer Dennis Onyango. But if they wanted to use that now to begin talking about whether Gachagua was involved anyway with the health, how was he? Did you see anywhere Gachagua with the former premier a month or 2 or 4 or even 1 year before they have never met. So how do the health of the former player Gachagua have to do with it? Yeah. Really, that was a bit cheap for Dennis. He should have apologized, by the way. I hear this is a period of now of people reflecting what they did bad. Dennis should be told it was an inappropriate, it was unnecessary to implicate these people in the health of a former premier. I think that should settle there.
Let me ask you this, Daktari. Assuming that Gachagua decided to attend the Nyayo Stadium where the state burial ceremony was being held, what do you think the reception will be, especially from Raida's supporters? You see now,
Brian, now I think we are getting.
We're just dealing on assumption.
Yeah, that one I don't want to go there because I let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you the same question. I mean, Kalonzo is in opposition, but he was celebrated. At least in Bodo where
even in Nyayo together with Karua.
Yeah, with Karua.
Yes.
So I don't think there's any problem.
Okay.
People are mature. Mm-hmm. If you come to mold with someone, you give them space. So I can tell you the truth, and I repeat it. The people have no problem with the official opposition. You saw how Sifuna was irritated. Deep inside Bondo. The guy, sorry to say, he's from his roots. Let me use that word. It's from Western. But he was irritated. People resonated with his message. So I can tell you this. Look at how Kalonzo also was people crapped for him when he was mentioned in Bondo. So the same thing would have happened. I can tell you that. It is the people, let me tell you. It is the leaders here who think, division and all that. The people are together. The message of one term reverberates across the country. And you'll be shocked, even in that Luonyanza.
Over the weekend, I heard yesterday on the news, a couple of MPs plan to visit, Bondo with elders from the Agikuyu community. Should we expect Rigathi Gachagua to accompany them?
Let me give you that background that I was saying, if you allow me. Number one, so what happens? A team comes yesterday morning after whatever Kahiga said. Then instead of addressing Kahiga, they start by saying, yesterday there was a meeting. We understand there was a meeting. That's a whole MP for Nyando, a whole MP. There was a meeting yesterday between Gachagua and Kahiga to plan what Kahiga said. A lie. I want to say that on record. It was not true. Secondly, another said, we are aware he's coming to visit. Let him not come because, it's going to be trouble and all that. There's nowhere Gachagua was planning to go. The elders you saw actually were accompanied by an MP who is not in one term. He's a second term, he's a two-term MP from Kirinyaga. So I want to see from the word go, the people who Wanga planned to do that pressure were all coached. What to say? Some of them lies. Just for record. But number 3, very important. Then, for record on this show, I want to say, authoritatively, as a senior member of DCP, the Honorable Governor for Nyeri is not our person. He has been hobnobbing with the people who are state agents sent to cause confusion in DCP. We drew them out a year ago. Those people have been trying to recruit people who think like themselves. And one of the people who have recently been recruited is the Governor for Nyeri. Now, he's been taking tea with them, Mandazi, meeting them. I have no business meeting people who I don't share some ideologies with. But 2 weeks ago, let me say this, 2 weeks ago, the Governor for Nyeri was sent to some church in Nyeri by a donation of 2 million from the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who is a two-term proponent. There's nothing that happens that is just, everything is planned. So I want Kenyans to know from today so that thing can die. One, Rigathi Gachagua has no obligation. Anybody who says anything, because they come from the same county or region or even community, to go be asked to talk or condemn or just go confirm or deny the way you ask somebody. But number 2, please understand, the governor is not ours. It's not in our place. So what we are saying is this. Add that to the fact that I don't think a governor in that stature can wake up and say such a statement just for the sake of it. We think, and people think on the ground, that he was sent by the team he represents because Rigathi Gachagua missed the entire thing. The people, they didn't have a good chance of causing enough conflict between people here because they think they can harvest something from that. We think governor may have sent by the powers that be, that he purposed to be with, to cause that slur, to cause confusion. Because why? Nothing happens. When now the presser was done yesterday, Governor Wanga mentioned Kahiga for about 30 seconds. He began Gachagua immediately. So the question is, look, something scripted. Gachagua 10 times. Even sometimes you wanted to mention Gachagua, Kahiga, he would go back to Gachagua. You could see the bile. You could see the bitterness. Then you were asking, is it that this thing was scripted? That's why people are so bitter, because they didn't catch. They didn't get the Gachagua they wanted, who they had hoped he was going to attend meetings, then they embarrass him and all that. Could it be they are still after him, even that leader has gone? So that thing was scripted according to us, because we are not born yesterday. That's why the pressure was meant, they met yesterday, a lie. Gachagua is coming here, he dare not step in Bondo. But we had agreed with the party leader, just keep quiet. Let's deal with these issues.
Scripted or not, yes. How did you receive, Kahiga's statements? What did you think about them?
Like I've said, Kahiga's statement was the most unfortunate statement ever on earth. Actually, let me say this. If you must talk to about 10 people and you have tribal sentiments in you, you are the wrong leader. Just 10. Forget about being a governor. 10. Cut to deep. Because we live in a country where, Brian, people have grown beyond communities. I am avoiding the word tribe completely. People have grown beyond, because you'll find people from Turkana, right, all the way to the coast. People from Ethiopia, the border of Ethiopia to the border of Tanzania. All the communities live here. And we have many more, even Chinese and others, from all over, French live here, right? Americans. So you cannot go back, try to insinuate anything that can cause conflict. There's some level of leadership. You should not go if you harbor such kind of sentiments. Secondly, life and death belongs to God. You cannot be the one now saying, oh, God did this, oh, it's good somebody happened, because you can be the next. Who are you to celebrate somebody's death? Because you can also die. So whatever Kahiga said is most unfortunate, but more unfortunate is the fact that the person who went to respond to it made it worse by saying, oh, they met. Why were they dragging the name of Gachagua? He was not there. Yes. What this price have Gachagua become? This is men who are supposed to be forgotten, but the state is not sleeping. Now, the brothers, the broad-based brothers, from here, all the way down there, messing up the situation. And I want to urge, because we don't want to be drawn into it either, I want to urge our brothers, the Runyanza and the rest of the country. We are all mourning Laila. I've just said, Laila is somebody I've respected, I've studied. Let's not be drawn into that cocoon of trying to hate someone who was not in the picture. Please deal with Kahiga. I hear the assembly has issues with him, the COG with issues with him, and if you don't address the issue of Kahiga, by the way, somebody else will do the same. Especially leaders who think they have protection. We condemn that act in a very serious way. It should not have happened, and going forward, people should lean on what they say. But please, just know it was scripted.
Now, Daktari, what part of Kahiga's statement angered you most?
The issue of saying that God did away with Raila, and so it's a good thing. That was very unfortunate. To say, now, the issue of resource allocation, that's another story. I don't want to go to that. That one is another story which I don't need to talk about. At least what I know about that story. But to say resources were there, and it's good God took him away, and now because of that, we are going to get our share. The issue of celebrating the death is what angered me. Never celebrate the death of anybody, because you can follow him tomorrow. Yes. That, to me, was unnecessary. And now, the other part of the community felt like they were celebrating the death of their son, which was quite untimely, by the way. But the people were shocked. Yes. People didn't know exactly what was aiding Laila. And that's another problem, Brian. Yes. If you get somewhere in a political leadership place, public life or political, people have some right to know, just have an idea. If you remember, some people even were speaking about foreplay. Why? Because the guy, Lao was here. He spoke the other day in Machakos. So how can somebody just die within 2 weeks? No. So that's another issue altogether. Mm-hmm. And then all the people who are trying to manage his health were saying, oh, he's fine, he's in holiday. Then suddenly he dies. So, but
let's come back to the issue of Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga. You say that he has not been part of the opposition, and he crossed over to the government. When did he fell out with Kahiga? I mean, Gachagua, and why? What happened?
Thank you. I just said, and I think I've explained very well. The likes it's not the likes of the Honorable Gojiru Abogo. He was part of our team. He's in public, so that's nothing long to discuss that, because he's been open and he's been also attending shows. So we got information a few months ago. They have been hobnobbing and they have been meeting, and of course,
information from whom?
I mean, we have information that they have been meeting, of course,
Were
and
you
they
meeting with,
no, and they have been taking tea, and the photos are there anyway in social media that they have been meeting. Okay, now let me tell you something. Do you know the problem we had with one of the principals in the official position? You cannot come mess DCP by being a spy. Then we find you with another principal. What we do, we try to advise the principal.
With another principal?
Yeah, in the official position.
Who is that principal?
The party leader, my friend Matiang'i.
Okay.
So when we saw him with them, we simply, like good brothers, told him, excuse me, you are the wrong person.
when you saw Kahiga with Matiang'i?
No, Gojiri Wambogo with Matiang'i.
Yes.
We had to shout and say, oh, you are finished. You know, because the people you are with, messed us here, we know him. Because you have just come from whatever, let us advise you. He's not the right person. So this person have now been meeting Kahiga. Then that is one. But
So
meeting
Gojiri has been meeting
yes.
Kahiga.
But maybe meeting, you may say, I mean, if I go to a hotel and I meet anybody else, not to say that we are not going to chat. We can have tea on anything. I mean, we are not that whatever. Not that we cannot be. Now, let me tell you, I've just told you, 2 weeks ago, Governor Kahiga was sent by a big donation of 2 million in a church. And by the way, there's no problem with church getting a donation, okay? Because these days we are saying anything that comes, we need all the money, because this is your taxpayers' money, share money, coming back in another way. But now, the fact that they are hobnobbing, and to an extent it can be sent to a public function with money from the DP, that tells you his allegiance and loyalty is not to DCP, is not to one term. We don't want anybody who can be thought to be bought. Oh, by the way, in one term, let me tell you how serious we are.
Are you playing politics?
Let me tell you, the first issue we have ourselves is loyalty and focus to the cause. If we suspect that you could be used, or we suspect that at night you can dream with 2 term, then we know you can be bought, and we don't want such kind of people. So I want to confirm today. You have asked a very good question. I want to confirm today that the governor for Nyeri, very respectfully, remember me, I discuss elected leaders and leaders above me without of respect, because it's important to respect leaders. But I'm here officially to say now here that Governor Kahiga is not one of us. He has been used by the system to do their things. Do you see how leaders, presidents and deputy, they have their appointment? In Nakuru, in the Western, in whatever, I want to confirm to you that the governor for Nyeri, the DP appointment in Nyeri has been Governor Kahiga over the last few months. And to confirm that, he was sent by a donation of 2 million to represent him. That I was sent by the DP. Now, by the time you...
Who is 𝐏𝐿𝐶𝐓's appointment in Nyeri?
No. We don't have appointment. In Nyeri, as we have aspirants, we have people, we have supporters, we have friends and all that. Okay? We have people all over the place, in Nakuru, in whatever. We don't use the word point, but his person, which is confirmed, it's there. You have your reporters there. They confirmed to us a donation was sent for 2 million. So, please, go handle. If you want to question Kahiga, you know who to ask. You know who to think may have sent him. Between Gachagua and the state, who may, please understand my language, who may have spent, if he was sent. But if it was maybe speaking something that then regretting later, that's another story. But from my leadership, political science classes, nothing like that happens.
So let me ask you, Daktari.
It was scripted.
Why do you think the government, including the deputy president or even the president, could send Gachagua to speak whatever?
Kahiga.
Yes, Kahiga, sorry, to speak of what he said?
Thank you so much for 2 reasons. One, everybody knew, and until now I'm telling you, until now I can give you 2 points to prove that he's not ours. Everybody knew Kahiga was ours. Everybody knew that Kahiga was the mouthpiece for Rigathi Gachagua. So now remember, the job of the current system right now up to 27 is to divide the one-term movement in Mount Kenya and the rest of the country. So now the whole issue here, and you can see it makes sense, Brian, if you cause conflict between the two communities, right? The whole probability that some members of the community from Luo Nyanza would join one term, you kill it. Because you have shown that these people, they are wishing your son death. So what you do, and I'm now saying, if I was a state, that's the reasoning that they would have. Because I know 1 or 2 things. So causing conflict, yes, that's a good question. causing conflict between the two communities for the state would be a good thing. Because they would want that thing to continue so that there's no other way. There will be no one term, maybe in Nyanza. So I'm answering what the script that could be there. Nothing happens by accident. So, to answer your question, I heard the Nyeri MP say now that they are going to Bondo to ask for forgiveness and take some goods on Saturday. Now, what I would advise, you asked me a question, the message they should go with somebody like Ojiru Abogo, of course, because he was part of that team. Then go and apologize for trying to instigate conflict themselves.
I mean,
between the two communities. Forget, keep off Rigathi Gachagua, keep off the opposition. It is their problem. Kahiga is a problem of the people they hobnob with. It's not our problem.
So are politicians that petty to, send someone to celebrate someone else's death? Are politicians that petty?
To do what?
To send someone to celebrate another person's death.
I just told you something. It will be in the interest of the two term to cause confusion in one term. Now, this situation hereby, LIPE 4, to go cause conflict between two communities. Anything is possible. And you're going to see, by the way, that is teasy. They're just doing the warm-up. You see a lot of confusion. Rijiro just told us an example of what special branch could do. Today, the NIS, the version of the special branch is funded 50 times more than what it was funded in 1991. But they had to go, print posters for Matiba, hire people to come and attend his rallies so that he can see he's loved. And that is how Moi ruled for 10 years, dividing the opposition. So if that can be done in 1881, what can they do?
What have you done? What petty thing have you done as DCP?
To do what? Do you know what you are doing? Us, we are going to the people, just telling people to go wake up and vote. We have no luxury and the time and the kind of money to do such kind of things. Or what I can tell you, please, whatever motive and whatever happened, let the people go and apologize. Keep Rigathi Gachagua out of your apologies and everything else. Just go and know it is one of you. It was one of your person. Kahiga is their person. As they do their apologies, they should know it is one of their person who messed up. Whether sent or not, can you aim your guns to the right person?
Let me ask you this question. Does Gachagua know all what you are telling us that Kahiga is not part of his team? Because, you talk, you are Gashagua's friend. Does he authoritatively know that Kahiga crossed over to the government? Can you say it authoritatively also that he knows about it?
You see, Brian, you called me here, and one of the titles that you put in the poster is that I'm the Secretary for Planning. Planning is planning. Planning is planning. You must know everything. And I'm here to tell you today, authoritatively, what I'm telling you. How can I tell you something like that when a party there doesn't know? I'm telling you. Just call, find out where Kahiga was 2 Sundays ago, and he gave the greetings of the DP. So please, Kahiga is not our person. Go and deal with your person out there. Go and deal with your confusion.
Gashana, I understand your dilemma because the last time we saw Kahiga in public, he was saying, "Kama mbaya."
That was when. Look at the dates. Look at the dates. It's not recent. That was Kitambo. That was that time. That was that time.
You point at something which I think we should discuss. If you look at Nyeri County, then how many leaders are supporting Gachagua? Because the governor is gone, based on what you have told us now. The senator is gone.
He's gone. Nyeri Town MP. Madira
MP, where he comes from. Then we have Kieni MP.
Yeah, we have two MPs. We only have two. So we only have Mkuraine and Tetu.
So what does that tell you about Gachagua?
Thank you very much. What does it tell me, Brian? When you are doing your analysis the way you have done, would you rather listen to the 5-10 leaders or the millions, hundreds of thousands of voters? Thank you. You should come and tell me. Rigathi Gachagua has only 2 people in Nyeri County following him. Maybe 2 MPs, Mokuraine and Tetu and all that. And maybe the speaker and quite a number of MCs. Now, the MCs in Nyeri who are pro-Gachagua are 90%. Hold on. The people of Nyeri, the voters, 95% are pro-Gachagua. So where would you?
How did you end up with that figure, 95%?
I'm in charge of planning. We do
opinion polls.
We do surveys, both physical, on call. I don't want to say after how long, continuously. we have updated records. Today, I can tell you what Mwatate people are saying in Voi. I can tell you what Moise Bridge in Kitare. I can give you our rating in every county by the hour. You come tomorrow, I'll give you fresh ones. The ones that are coming to Hammer at night. So, where would you rather be? Let me tell you what will happen. Now, what happened for impeachment was a good thing, especially for Mount Kenya. Do you know why? Because we had a problem of going to the government without a party, but we had other issue about the quality of leaders. Because if the quality of leaders was good, quality, what I do in my quality, people with the capacity for where they are elected, but with the issue of understanding of regional interest before we go to national interest. If we had that, when the sieve was done, how many were left? Senators and MPs, right now with the Rigathi Gachagua, about 25. So out of all that, about other 50 or 60 in Mount Kenya, they went the other side. So what will happen? The opportunity came, now we have a party, to get leaders who are not only have capacity, please mark my words, capacity, because there's other problems that we have been having in this country. People with no capacity. But number two, people who are loyal to the cause. Cause, I mean, the regional politics before you go national. So the people you are mentioning, all of them as we speak, the people who have the votes, they know who is going home as we speak right now, and they're looking for leaders who can start with the people.
Okay, fair enough. Now, your party leader, former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, once said that Ruto's life support machine is none other than the late Raila Odinga. And of course, political landscapes is going to take a paradigm shift now that Raila is gone. What do you think Ruto will do now to ensure that he seeks and succeeds in serving his 2 term?
Well, it's not only Rigathi Gachagua who said that Ruto's life entirely depends on Raila. Many people, many analysts say the same. Many people. So it's a fact. So your guess is as good as mine. If therefore Raila was a life support machine, and he's gone, unfortunately, the chances for the election of Ruto are getting dimmer than they were before. Okay, that's a fact. Why? Osotsi is one of the most sober voices. One of them. Do you know what he said, Juzi? He said, look, us, we are just saying, the only thing that holds us together with UDA is a 10-point agenda. Brian seated where you are seated, that point agenda is as complicated as it can get. They made it so general, so it will be very easy to jump out. Okay? Very easy to jump out. Look at them. Corruption, all those kind of things. By March next year, because we'll be here, the score will be out of 10, like 1 or 2 score, if there will be any score. So that will form a basis of the one arm of ODM to bolt out. Okay? To bolt out. Raila would have held it together a bit, somehow, sluggishness a bit, get Joho here, get Kisii a bit, remember Arati had gone to opposition completely. He was at the center of receiving Matiang'i. Then he gets back. Raila had some power a bit to hold them together. Now with him gone, everybody will learn on their own way because they don't have anybody to ask. Okay? And of course, Raila, what he had done, when he was there, he had given one arm of ODM, Sifuna, Babu, told them, you go to opposition, continue moving, hitting very badly. And he would say, the person who is speaking for ODM is the Secretary General. But what is the Secretary General saying? 1 term. Now look at that. Raila knew his heart, where his heart was, Raila's heart was. He didn't want again to go against the people. That's why he sent SG to go completely talking about 1 term. And by the way, SG would talk about 1 term when the president is seated there. He seated there literally, and he knew. This is Raila who has told me to say the following. So, the bigger number of people, you could see people celebrating when Sifuna talks, Kalonzo, all the people in opposition. That is where the heart is, and that's where Luo Nyanza is going. So, what will happen is very simple. The president had been left with Rift Valley and a bit of Luo Nyanza, because he, more or less the other places had gone to the opposition. Right now, with the Raila gone, the numbers have shrunk a big percentage, and we don't know how far it can go. Of course, he vowed that he will not allow him to go to opposition, but you see, it is not the party going to opposition, it is the people. When the people have gone to opposition, they can leave ODM as a shell. That's what is going to happen.
But Daktari, Raila left ODM in the broad-based government.
Yes.
Don't you think that spirit is going to inform the Luo Nyanza to support President Ruto?
Let me tell you what was going to happen. Raila was very clear about he had never committed about elections. Never, ever, ever. Laila had never committed about it. Even the ones, because we saw a new phrase, which I liked, called, which were the last studying instructions. The word is studying. You know, so I think Wanga or Miri came up with some studying instructions about Baba has left us in a broad-based. SG came with the last studying instructions that we should prepare for elections. Okay, so this is what was going to happen. The ODM was going to vote out of government after March. They were going to have a meeting, review the 10-point agenda, find that most of them have not been done, use that to get out. That's what Laila was planning. That's why he was saying, he was telling Sifuna, continue being in the opposition so that we know how to get back.
But how do you know those things?
No, one, I told you what Ososi said. Please, I'm quoting themselves. Number two, if you want to prepare for elections, Brian, by March next year, you should be preparing and even getting the NDC to endorse a presidential candidate. Remember? But I'm just saying you how it was supposed to happen. And of course, Brian, when I say a few things here and there, I know a few things. So yes, we have a few people who we know what was going to happen.
Can you table the evidence?
No. I'm just saying. Also, let me quote Ososi for this show. Ososi said the only thing that's left between us and UDA, what we are clinging to, is March next year. What you are going to review there?
Are you, as a united opposition, underestimating Ruto?
I'll tell you this. That's a very good question. Are we underestimating Ruto? Let me tell you what happened. We were here with Ruto, some of us, from 2018, after the handshake. Okay? We followed him for years. We were part of the campaigns and the elections. I can tell you today what I know. At no point, Ashane, Ruto was the one who was saying there's no deep state, there's no system. Just God and prayers and the voters. We did exactly that. We mobilized properly. Ruto would do like 8 rallies per day when Laila was doing 1 or 2. So we went, and I can tell you there's no vote that we stole. People voted. I was in charge of presidential campaigns and elections in Nakuru County. We went after the votes and made sure all the 2,000 plus polling centers we have from 34A. We sent to the turning center. And by 3 a.m., our numbers were ready. The figure we got that night is a figure that Chebukati announced 2 weeks later. So let me tell you what will happen. We are not underestimating anybody. Or what we are saying, we are putting together numbers. We tell our people to go and vote. We are going to get that from 34A. One of the things we want to persuade the Supreme Court to advise is that once Form 34A is declared and put together, announced at the constituency level, that should be final. We don't have to wait for 2 weeks. Because even if you wait after 2 weeks, it's just mathematics. 1 + 1 together. Now, I'll tell you this. There's a lot of fear. You know the president. You know you cannot defeat him. You know you cannot defeat a president in Africa who is going for 2 terms. Let me tell you what will happen. The same president who told us there's no deep state, and there's no state, and there's no system, only God, that truth is still here. We know there's no deep state, there's no system. The God who was there in 2022 is still alive today, and the people are there. That's why as we are concerned about numbers. Let me tell you something, Brian. We are so clear about numbers in this country that the numbers will come and speak, and it will be a very big win. The biggest win ever you have ever seen. Why? Because, Brian, we have lost a lot of time. We have dashed hopes of people. I can tell you, Brian, if only we were able to achieve 40%, not 50, just 40 of what we had planned in the 1-2 years of this government, I can tell you this country will not be the same again. Just 40% by now. But what happened? We came in, we lost focus. We began concentrating on things that are not important. We lost time. By now, the plane could be on the airborne now. It's not the time we should be talking about Singapore right now. We cannot be talking Singapore. Do you know what happens in Singapore, Brian? Singapore, they shoot, they kill people who are corrupt. What about here? So you cannot compare Kenya and the Singapore thing.
Do you see a situation in which President Ruto would inherit Raila's base?
Let me tell you this. We were saying this before. Even if, now, we had 2 scenarios. If Raila were to support Ruto, Laila turnout when he was vying himself was 66% in Luo Nyanza.
No, it was 72 actually.
No, maybe
in 2022.
Yes,
2022 was about 72.
The average of how many counties? Which counties?
That was Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay, and Migori.
The 4 counties.
Yeah.
add Kisii and all that.
And the turnout in Rift Valley was around 74%.
74, Mount Kenya.
Mount Kenya was
Going head to head.
60.
The two
No,
regions.
Mount Kenya was higher.
No, it was actually in the 60s.
The average of Azimio turnout nationwide, the average didn't hit 70. Total average.
The average of the country, the entire country, was about 60 something.
That is it. Now let me tell you what happened. So that one, you tell me why, when you have your own son vying for president, they couldn't hit even 80. That's another story for another day. Maybe because they were disappointed because of the
I think
nominations.
that the turnout has been, dwindling by the years. So in 2013, in Mount Kenya and Nyanza witnessed over 90%.
Overnight, yeah, yes.
So in 2017, it went to 80 something.
Yes.
So it has been going down.
It's been going down. So the question is, the point is, now, if that's happened that time, we were imagining, if then Laida was not vying and is supporting Ruto, how many people would have supported Laida who will not support Ruto? We were looking at 30%. If he was going to support Ruto. The turnout and the support he was going to get out of the number of people who are going to vote. Now, in the absence of Laida.
So 35%
Yes.
would not vote for Ruto?
No,
Or-
the turnout.
Okay.
First of all, turnout would be about, even if turnout would be about 50, 55 to 60, the number that would vote for Ruto was going to decrease because of the Gen Z, millennial, and middle class and all that. But now with his exit, we are more worried. Because there are people who would have voted for Ruto because Baba have said.
Yes.
Okay? That's a fact. But now, you cannot...
So 35% for the benefit of Gachagua is about 2.4 million votes.
For who?
So you were saying that Ruto would get 35% of what Raila got, right?
35% of all the registered voters. We are giving
Not-
registered voters
not
in Luo
counting
Nyanza. In Luo Nyanza.
Okay.
In Luo Nyanza, yes, in Luo Nyanza. Because the Laila would get like 90, like 80, he would get like about 30. Now, with him gone, you cannot transfer loyalty. There are people, if it's Baba saying, let's vote, he would say, Baba knows the best what he can do. But now with his exit, you have to work harder, even to attain that 30. Deeply, so seriously. Such that you may be surprised that with all this coalition that is being formed here, and ODM would want to remain because ODM would want to be swallowed, even it's a possibility that President Ruto may decide just to vie on ODM, just to make sure he tries to get the little he can get from
And
them.
do you foresee a scenario where the opposition is going to get some votes from Nyanza?
I can tell you this, and that's what I was going to. Did you see the approach that was greeted by Sifuna? Sifuna is a one-term, remember? Yes, Sifuna is one-term.
But he's an ODM MP.
Yes, but he's a one-term.
He's not in the United Opposition.
No.
He's a member of Kenya Moja.
Oh, let me
Remember, there's
I
another
remember-
coalition.
let me
called
put
Kenya
this-
Moja.
And you remember, I think 2 weeks ago, Sifuna was the one blasting Gachagua.
Now let
So
me
they're
tell
not in one side.
let me tell you. Finally, one term is one term.
Okay.
Opposition. The question he asks is about opposition. I'll tell you this: what will happen? Sifuna will be for opposition. He is on record as saying one term. Sifuna is SSG of the ODM, saying that he doesn't want Ruto to get back. So to answer your question, all the people you saw clapping for Sifuna, all the people you saw clapping for Kalonzo are all in opposition. And they were at the heart of Siaya, not Western, not Kisii, to answer your question. So quite a number of people. I can tell you this. Anybody was thinking that one-term thing was going to be a Mount Kenya thing. We jumped from Mount Kenya. We went to Kambani. We combed coast. We have a sizable number in Masai Land. We have now Kisii. We have Western, back to Nyanza. We are going to have a sizable number by there from Rift Valley. Quite a number from Rift Valley. They are not going to brightly vote back President Ruto. We are going to have a sizable number from Northeastern. So that's where we are. So to answer your question, opposition is everywhere. Literally, it's going to be a moment of 2002.
Asante sana Daktari. I think our time is up. Probably you can give us your final thoughts.
Thank you so much. For me, I would want to talk about peace. And I'd want to talk about, let's stop this thing of what I call negative ethnicity. Brian, I grew up in Nakuru. I went to nursery school with other communities. You can imagine. I grew knowing that we have all other communities and some are better than myself. Let me say that on record. There's something that you know that I don't know. There's something I know that you don't know. God created us to be that way. So please, as we go towards elections, number one, tolerance, peace, inclusivity. I'm urging all our supporters in the opposition, please, when you are provoked, please don't don't answer back. There are going to be a lot of issues, a lot of, people being bought, people being approached to be bought. There will be a lot of provocation. We want to play cool for now because we don't want to fight with blood and flesh. We want to believe in the power of God and the power of the voters.
Thank you.
I happen to belong to the same church as Raila, and there's something we say: if that is so, let us offer one another a sign of peace.
Even if you're not in that church,
I'm also
exactly. So Adam, if that is so, let's agree to it. Let it be so. We will be here. This is our country plan, and God for us all.
Sure.
Thank you.
That's it from us on Unfiltered. See you next week.
Unfiltered with Bran Otieno and Dongo Gashane.